I actually watched a really good podcast on my way home
This is
yesterday.
not one of them.
No, this is not one of them. No, it was Diary of a CEO. I like his stuff a lot, and it was with Busta Rhymes, which I don't know. I've always been fascinated by that guy.
I don't know who that is.
He's a rapper, but he's a very, very specific rapper, and he's like, he's one of those guys, like, you can't listen to a whole album of his just because his voice is so different, and like when he talks, he just kind of talks in rhythm anyways. It was like listening to this podcast was like watching like listening to someone's story being narrated by a ghetto Dr. Seuss or something. It was kind of crazy. So, sorry, off topic, but it was a good podcast. All right, so good morning, everybody. Or actually almost noon now because we got off to such a late start, but it is what it is. So we've been talking a lot about topics that come up in our personal lives outside of the gym and in the gym. You know, we've been talking a lot about parenting, relationships, dating, and things like that. And I kind of think today we kind of wanted to go back to basics on why we're doing this and kind of the origin story of the gym. And I think you'll probably throw that out there, Chris. Let you take it away from there.
Fucking gone. No origin. How far do I go back?
Does it matter? I don't think it matters. You know, I mean, that's a story. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time at the gym. I only come here if there's snacks. So,
We don't have snacks.
We don't have snacks. Maybe that's why I'm so mad
Damn it.
today.
There's no snack.
I
I
have
like
snacks.
though. Man, I want snacks. I started. Well, I mean, I was training and teaching at Charlie's, and then I retired, and I stepped away from coaching for a year or two, and I couldn't get away from it. I think it's something that I'll probably never get away from. I don't think I could ever set it down. I'll probably be coaching until I can't coach anymore. So I start, a couple years off, and then I don't remember which garage it was, but I just started teaching a few people here and there in a garage, whatever garage I had. And I found, and then I had borrowed mats from a place I'm not allowed to say. Well, I didn't steal them. I'm just saying they let me use them.
Yeah. Are you still using them?
No.
Okay. Just wanna make sure.
I gave them back.
So let me ask you this. Do you think your calling was to be a fighter or to be a coach?
Good question.
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't really know. Might be. That's a tough question. Calling to either be a fighter or a coach. Probably, I would have to say now I would be a coach. I don't think that I ever really had a calling to fighting. I just liked it. I thought it was good, and it, still is a good time. I like fighting.
Yeah.
I like punching people in the face, especially this one.
Yeah. Well, we should probably introduce.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Kimberly.
this one.
Yeah.
I'm Kimberly, as Chris refers to as this one. He also refers to me.
As Kimberly Poo Poo Cocka Pants.
He has that's one. There's probably another one.
Well, MJ calls you Kimbo mostly. I just like Poo Poo Cocka Pants. I kind of gravitated away from Kimberly. That was
That was
your
the
alter
third
ego,
one.
Kimberly, when she's mad.
It's my angry alter ego.
Kimberly.
Yep.
Sad
Yeah.
part is I'll yell Poo Poo Cocka Pants and she'll go,
She just knows.
Yeah, she knows.
She knows her name.
So it's bad. It's like
Yeah,
she
new people,
encourages
you could
my
tell
bad
who's
behavior.
new. Yeah.
It's like, what is
You
that?
can tell, who's new because they're like, did he just call you? Yeah.
Yeah, that happened. Anyway, fast forward, I don't know. I opened this place. I mean, I trained throughout a few garages, and then we opened up this place. And then, well, it was 2021, May 2021. When did you come in?
August.
August
Yeah.
of 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. By chance, I think, right? Or I was there
Yes.
by chance.
Oh my gosh. That was weird. That was like it was weird how that all worked out because I came in.
I think I just had been here by chance or something like
Yeah.
that during the day.
Oh, okay.
It was like I
open or
was just
anything?
driving by because I've never been back here, and a lot of people when they first come here, no one knows that these warehouses are back here. So, also at the time there was no Google reviews. There was like one fake Google review and no photos up, and there was like no information. And I was like, and all of the website photos were just stock images, like it wasn't a real place. And I was like, what is going on? So before the time was even open, I just wanted to drive by and make sure it wasn't someone's like garage, like their home. And I was like, I'm not going to train in someone's home that I don't know who it is. And it's just like set up on Google. But, and then,
That's where we were before this place.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was before the Team United was wrapped on the door and here.
Yeah.
So just the door was open and I wouldn't have like even looked at it. And then my dad, I was still 16. So my dad had to sign the waiver and then we pulled up and then Chris is wearing the Santa shirt. It's just Santa and it says nothing for you, whore.
Oh my God. I know that shirt.
And I came from a Taekwondo background. So from like everyone wearing uniforms and like calling each other ma'am and sir. And then I walked into that and I was like, okay, this is different. This is different. Yeah, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, and the rest is history. Let's go. Let's go get some
Great
snacks.
podcast, everybody.
So it was, it was like 2 years-ish after I opened when somebody asked me the question because people, when they come into, well, I think people's perceptions outside of the gym, people's perceptions are, they think all we do is punch each other in the face and we're fighting to the death every night. And that's not anything close. So I'm always telling, no, it's not like that. It's like this. And somebody asked what kind of gym, what environment we have. And I actually didn't have an answer. Some gyms are competitive gyms and that's good. Some gyms are fight gyms and that's good. There are good and bad environments, but I mean there's no right or wrong environment. So anyway, I had to think about that for like a few months because I just didn't, I knew, but I just didn't know how to articulate it actually. So,
well, I think this podcast, and I think what we've been talking about a lot about the gym is the effect that it has on people's lives off the mats. Like I never knew Chris as a fighter. We became friends after he had fully retired. He was doing construction at the time. And it wasn't until probably 3 or 4 months into our friendship that I actually figured out who he really was. Like he was a regular at my wife's restaurant, and my wife just called him a boxing nerd. That's all she said. He's like some some boxing nerd. I don't know. He always goes to the gym. It's like, all right, he looks apart, right? Like so then and then it was one day I told him this story before. Where he invited me over to his house to watch the fights, and we're there with other clearly fighters. And they're talking about how like they know the refs and this and that, and I was like I don't want to look like a fucking idiot, but I have no idea what these guys are talking about, or like why? How does he know this stuff? So I Googled him when I got home, like any stalker would do, and the first thing that pops up is him fighting in China, breaking a guy's arm, and I was like, oh my Christ.
Oh my Christ,
that's scary. Like I make fun of this guy at the bar all the time. Like he could literally break my arm. And then the funny thing was, I think like a couple days later that Anthony in Brooklyn had started like hanging out and talking, and I heard Anthony on the phone at like 11 o'clock at night and was clearly talking to Brooklyn.
Oh.
So I'm driving with him down the street the next day. I was like, hey, were you talking to Brooklyn last night? He's like, yeah, Dad. I think I really like her. I was like, okay, cool. Here's the deal, son. That's cool and all. But if you fuck this up and he comes to my house for any reason, I am going to hand you to him. Are we clear? Okay?
For context, Anthony is Michael's son and Brooklyn is Chris's daughter.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's how, yeah. Yeah.
I remember that story. That's funny.
Yeah. But like, I guess what I'm getting at though is I never knew you as a fighter, so I don't even know a lot of the workings of the gym, right? Because I don't frequent this place, but I know you as a person. And what I found is your life as a fighter and as a coach has made you highly disciplined in certain areas, right? And I think that's what I see this gym doing for people is, yes, it's great for your health. It's good for so many other things, but it builds you, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, a sense of discipline. And I think like what a lot of the stuff that we talk about is really kind of based off of the conversations that people are having at the gym that, you're getting involved in because as a coach, you're also their mentor, So you find yourself in this situation where you're doing more than just teaching them the steps, right? You're coaching them on I don't know, relationship advice or like, like career advice and doing, like helping them set up the rest of their lives. So what I see this gym doing, I see it doing more than just teaching people how to fight or teaching their steps or anything like that.
Yeah. It's true. It's a thing because you take whatever you learn on the mats, right? And it's not the techniques. Like the techniques are fine. Like punching and kneeing people in the face is pretty straightforward. And that's not complicated. It's the inner workings of the human that gets complicated, where they get in their way. They have these expectations, like I have to do it perfect, or I can never half-ass. I'm all in or all out, or and there's none of that is wrong or right. It's just is what it is, and that's what we work on. So you take that and then you start applying that to other areas of your life. Like the discipline, right? So like discipline and the consistency that it takes to develop the technique, you can apply that to how you're navigating your emotions or how you're going to navigate your finances or your relationship. You know that now that you have a capacity for it, so you can draw from that in other areas of your life, and that's essentially, I think essentially what I've been doing pretty much the entire time I've been coaching. Most of it, I didn't really know that I was doing it that way. I was just doing it, and now I think it's come full circle where now I know, and I'm not like an expert by any means at all. I'm a student first, always be a student of everything, whatever that is, whether it's coaching, leadership, student of whatever technique we're doing, student in relationships, whatever. Always be the student first with the growth mindset, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's that.
Well, and Kimberly, I guess what were you looking for when you started going to this gym? And what did you find? And what was your path that led you to sitting it with us today?
Basically, she was looking for like the best coach ever to exist on planet Earth
Yes.
In the universe, and she don't cry shot me. It's on camera. It's assault.
I think I started, I had the Taekwondo background, like I said, so I did that for a very long time. I think until I was 8 years old to 16. So I just outgrew that. So then I always wanted to do kickboxing. I actually never really cared for grappling. And I was like, I just want to learn kickboxing because I already know kicking things. So I want to learn. I've always been interested in boxing. And I think martial arts, wrestling, MMA, or whatever it is, it's like an individual sport. It's not like wrestling, they have your team, but it's you and the other person.
Right.
I tried volleyball, softball, and these other sports, but I don't think I liked the team sports that much. So, and also in this area, if you pick up new sports as you're older, it's just already too competitive if you haven't been trying when you're like a kid. So I did some off-season stuff with softball, and I tried volleyball in like freshman year or something, but I ultimately just kept doing Taekwondo year round. And then the goal was in the summer, I was just going to do that last month of summer and pay for that last month and just do the kickboxing because we had the morning classes. So I was going to do the morning classes and then go to Taekwondo in the evening. And this was the only place that had morning classes on the schedule except for, I think, maybe Charlie's. And I had actually driven in Charlie's and talked to their coach. So, yeah, then a couple months later passed after softball or something. I forget the timeline. But then basically it was summer. I decided I wanted to do that in the morning. I was also looking at the jiu-jitsu places, but I really want to do striking, so didn't really want to do that. No offense to you jiu-jitsu people. I just like my striking. So anyways. So yeah, then the morning classes were actually the opposite of what I was expecting completely, because it was just all women at the time. Those morning classes were just the women. And it wasn't like by design or on the schedule like that. That's just what happened is those
This
like,
is who shut up.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
the evening classes had a mixture, but for some reason only the moms came to the morning ones. So, and I actually didn't grow up with a mom. So I thought that was kind of cool. I got really close with the women that were here at the time. And it was just fun to like work out with them. And then 4 years happened. And we're having really fast. And it's really weird that that's been 4 years now. Then we had a couple fights. And here we are.
And do you think the gym kind of like did other things aside from just teaching you how to fight? Do you feel that it kind of molded you into the person that you are today? Just being with, like you said, like with the people the camaraderie that you had with the people here at the gym.
Yeah, I think it's different in other sports, or I'm not sure. I obviously didn't do very well in other sports, but as far as being here and something about doing rounds with people, you just have to be their friend, or at least have some sort of level of respect.
Yeah.
So, and then even just anyone that is even coming in and trying it, everyone here that loves the sport would be welcoming to them. So it's not like you even have to be competitive and doing rounds. It's just like, oh, well, you showed up here. We like you. And I never got that, like, you just walk into the room and it's like, oh, wow, you showed up today. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you don't really get that in other sports unless you're kind of like involved with them for a while. I think there's some other sports that have some similar energy. I know Mitch has his CrossFit gym, and I think that he builds a culture like that there too. But yeah, I think it's more about the people that you meet here, specifically if you're doing rounds too. It's always fun to go in public, and then, or if I'm at work or doing whatever, and you see people with cauliflower ear, you just see it on their face, and you're like, "Did you wrestle, or were you a fighter?" And they're like, "Yeah."
I see you. Yeah.
And it's always like you just catch them in public, and it's like a cool
Camaraderie thing.
Yeah.
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 I would say, one thing that I have noticed with the people, the little time that I've spent in the gym and the people that I've met here, when you come in these doors, you're accepted for who you are and what you're capable of. Because you have some people in here who are highly capable. You would be one of those people. You're a highly capable individual when you're on the mat. And you have people that are in their 60s coming in here that are not that capable, but everybody has the same goal, right? They just want to better themselves. So, and I think I appreciate that. I think that's kind of like, unlike other sports, like if you're playing baseball, you got to be good, because you're on a team, right? So you got to be at the level of the team that you're playing on. Here it is an individual sport. It's about like just you showing up for yourself and everybody here acknowledging that and praising and just, being there to support you as you grow. I think that's kind of the cool thing that I see.
You articulate your words very well. I mean, like, when I listen to people like you, I'm like, I should read more.
You feel stupid.
Well, that was actually, not to segue, why I brought up the Busta Rhymes thing, because that was really what, like I was listening to this podcast for 2 hours, and the guy talked the whole time, but I couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying. It was like listening to Chris speak sometimes, It's like, he's got words, big word,
It's true.
Sorry.
This is true. This is very true. It's funny too, because like it's interesting. It's an individual sport, because when the door locks behind you, it's just you. But it takes teammates to get you in there, right? And so iron sharpens iron, and but again, it's like the dynamics. You can show up, like you said, show up. Doesn't matter if you've been training 1 year or 20 years, right? The mats don't lie. The mats will accept you for where you're at, and they'll show you exactly where you are, and they'll show you where you're not. And as long as you're truthful to yourself within, you're going to be totally fine, right? The problem is when you get on there and you've been faking it, or you didn't put in the time that you should have, or you half-assed your last round, or or your training camp, or what, where you really don't pour everything that you are into that. It'll show it. It just does what it does. And then if you're true to yourself and you're honest with yourself on that, then that means that you're now an asset to your training partners. So now your training partners can sharpen their iron on yours, right? But if you're like half-assing it, that spreads like cancer. Then your buddy starts to, kind of half-ass it. And it's true. This is not an exact half-assing it, but it's a real story, because it happens in the gym where two guys will be going really hard, during fighters training, and then everyone else kind of slows down a little bit just to see what they're doing, to be like, what, like, are you guys pissed? Like, what happened? Like, because it happens, accidental whatevers, right? And so, but it's like a real thing. Like, the entire room shifts. The entire room will shift in a moment, based on some things, right? But that's not a smart person word, I know. But it will, right? And so, if you're just like on point with your stuff, then you're an asset, not a liability to your team, And but now imagine everybody doing that, and now you have like one hell of a team, right? You got a room full of killers, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what's really cool. And again, of course, like, it sounds so aggressive because it's fighters training and we're literally punching each other in the face and really, we're not trying to break each other, but we're trying to break each other, not in a physical sense, but in a how close can we get to the edge, and then how much further can we go? Kind of sense, right? And that's, I think, what makes it really cool, because there's not I don't know. I may be speaking out of turn here. I never played football or basketball or baseball, but I don't know of a sport that'll take you to the edge like that and then see if you can go just a little bit further into that. It's a pretty cool place to go. And it's really hard to explain or express what that is, because like I've been in the middle of rounds or whatever, and I'm basically dying, and there's nothing left, and then the bell rings, and you have 7 more rounds to go.
Yeah.
And you've already put in, 13 rounds. You're like, Jesus. And then you get more rounds done, and you still have 3 rounds to go, and you're like, fuck. And then when you're done, you got to go do strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
So it's like, it really, I don't know. I mean, it sounds so generalized, or whatever that word is for just the explanation of it, but it's a pretty intense.
And I think what both of you guys are saying, we a couple times already talked about how this is different than a team sport. It's different than baseball or basketball or football. When you have wins in those sports, it's a team win, right? It's not just you. There's like 10 other people or however many people on the team that also played good that day, right? So you did that together. But there is also something like that at the gym, right? Like, when you're sparring with someone, whoever that is, you have a huge amount of respect for that person because they're taking your kicks, right? And you're taking their kicks, and you do build a camaraderie with these people.
A trust,
a trust, right? A trust, right? Like,
don't
like,
break me, and
don't
I won't
break me.
You.
And you've said this many times. I never really thought about this. As a fighter, the fighting is such a small part of the sport. Like, it's the training, the days of training, and all of your injuries were mainly sustained in training, correct?
Yeah.
That's it's showing up every day and doing that. That's where you get made.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very unique like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I had a thought, but I can't remember. It left me. That happens.
It happens. No, I think, obviously not a fighter, right? I cook a lot, but I'm really good with a slab of meat. But my profession, I'm a service manager. I run 3 different shops down in Longview, Washington. And my management style has been highly successful as just being like my goal when I go to work is I want to take my team of 30 or 40 people, and I want to make them the best versions of themselves every single day, as it relates to work, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully me helping them become the best versions of themselves at their job will trickle into their lives outside of work. It always does. And I just love watching these people that I've hired on and helped them hone in their skill, and now they're making, you know, six figures. They're you know, blossoming as humans. They're highly successful, taking care of their kids. Like, I really like that. I know for you, you have the same feeling with people that you see walking into this gym, and you feel the same way when they start achieving the things that they wanted to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. Kimberly's case in point,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I have only had you for 4.5-ish years, something like that. But to be able to be a part of your growing up and the high school things, and then
Oh yeah, Chris went to my graduation.
yeah,
What year did you graduate?
2020, same as Brooklyn. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay. You're a year older than Anthony. Okay.
the wrestling, that was
Yeah, that's
but
pretty
here's
cool.
like a testament to the character development in this one here, right? One day she, and I'm gonna miss, it's memory, it's just,
I'm scared.
it's in here, I just can't find it all. But one day she comes to me, you know, here, because okay, but like also too, on a side note, like at one point in both of our lives, we spent the most time with each other than
Oh
we
my
spent
God.
with anybody else.
Yeah. It's because there was 3 classes a day. There was like 3 hours, and then sometimes we'd even do a workout before. So it's like 4 hours a day for 5 days a week.
Now you know why I got
3
gray
to
hair.
4 hours.
This one.
Dude,
She can have
She
like.
took your hair color.
5 days a week, and sometimes on the weekends too. Even
Yeah.
sometimes Saturday classes in the
So
morning.
we've spent a lot of time together, but also a lot of time working out, a lot of time punching each other in the face. We're at the point now where she actually brings out the old athlete in me because she's so technical that she's the only one that can bring out the real technical side of me, which I miss. But it's really cool.
Yeah.
But one time she came in, she's like, so I was thinking about doing wrestling at the high. This is her senior year. Wrestling already started. Were they halfway through?
They're halfway through the season because I was in a kickboxing camp. That's why I already thought about it, but I was in camp during the first half of the season. Yeah.
Oh, and then you fought.
I didn't fight that time. That was like
Did they back out
there
or
was
something?
something like that. There was
Yeah.
an opponent last
Yeah.
minute. Yeah.
So then she just pivoted naturally right into wrestling, and then she was told, like, you are not, well, we're past whatever, you can train with us, but you can't, you're probably not going to be able to compete, or you can't compete. But she hit the amount of training before the deadline or something like that, and then she got to compete.
Yeah,
in
you
her
need like
senior
12
year.
practices or something like this,
Yeah.
like X amount of practices. And so the first night I wrestled was senior night, which is like all the girls. Also, my class was the first girls wrestling class at Lake Stevens. So when they started, they were freshmen, and that's when girls wrestling started in Lake
Yeah.
Stevens. So, so these girls that I like knew, but I never wrestled with, this is their night. It's like senior night. They have the spotlight thing. They play. They do a bio about you, and they like announce your name and do your bio. And so they ask like what your favorite moment in your wrestling career was. And I said that it was wrestling on senior night tonight because I hadn't wrestled before. so yeah, Chris and a lot of other people from the gym showed up. They made signs, and they like took a little section of the like bleachers, and yeah.
But that's a like one of many stories of like just stepping up, just going into the uncomfortable. Like, how old were you? 17 or something?
Yeah, probably 17 or 18.
Right, like
Something
17-year-old.
like that. 17. Yeah.
17-year-old joining wrestling after camp had already started and your last year of high school.
Yeah.
And then being told like you were probably not going to be able to compete, and then still sticking through it. You know, that's just I don't know. That's a really cool
pretty cool
testament
story.
to her character, her integrity, her work ethic, you know, her as a human. And I always tell you, like, you know, you're just the same as Brooklyn. And I always tell everybody, I was like, wait till you meet her. You're going to just be like, you're going to wish she was your kid. She, you know, her dad did such a great job raising her, you know, and I only have like a small amount of your 20, almost 1 years of life, right? So I'm not taking any real credit, you know, it's just to be able to have a little small part in that, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, to see and then see that. But like multiply that by so many people that when they get in and get on the mats, that kind of stuff happens all the time. All the time.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe a segue in a sense, but it's interesting the people that you end up meeting in life. You know, like you might meet someone, and for some reason that person will resonate with you for the rest of your life, but maybe they don't resonate. You don't resonate with them. You know, and I think that the powerful thing that you have with the gym is everybody who walks through that door is going to remember you.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, that's okay. First of all, I have brain damage, so if I'm out in public and you see me and you say, Coach Chris, chances are I might not remember. It's not that you're not important. It's just I have a tough time remembering things. But I didn't think about it that way. That's true. That's a real thing. I didn't think it that way. But yeah.
You know, even in my line of work, I get it with the employees that I've worked with in the past, or,
Yeah.
Hired and, maybe they don't work with me anymore, but, I've worked with so many hundreds of people at this point. And same with you in the gym, it's a very, it's maybe flattering is not the right word, but it's definitely something you have to be cognizant of. It's a responsibility,
Yeah.
to make a good impression.
Yeah. That's true.
So, and you've had a couple fights, correct? I think I remember I never went to any. I saw one of them. It was really badass. It was it was your first one. But how many have you done?
I think 5.
Oh wow, okay. I do remember when you opened the gym, you said, "I'm not going to do any fights. Fuck that." and then she comes along and is like, "I think we're going to do some fights." It's like,
Well,
okay,
that's
Chris.
the thing. Like, so I don't want to train fighters. I can. I already did it a bunch.
Yeah.
Right, for lots and lots of years. And I love it. I miss not being in the corner. Well, at the last fights, I don't know who I was with. I think I was with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the last fights at the casino, and just watching the other guy's corner, I reminisced a little bit, and I do miss not being there. I miss not being in the corner, and the whole camp and the getting the readies and the just, I don't know. I love that as well. But I don't want to train fighters on a regular basis because then you're traveling.
Yeah.
3 weekends out of a month you're gone, living out of a suitcase. That's not easy. That's hard. And then
Especially when you get older.
Yeah. I don't travel well. I'm old now. And then so but I trained, I think you were I don't know if you were the first. Doesn't matter. It was when I realized, all right, so people are going to want to fight. So if they want to fight, then the standard's going to be you have to live in the gym. And she lived in the gym. So anyways, so I fuck it. Just grab her and start training her, because if I have to pour into you, then and I've trained a bunch of fighters and they're selfish and they should be. They're supposed to be. It's like, that's their job. But I kind of wanted to shift that. I don't want selfish fighters anymore. So like, if you're going to fight, then you need to live in the gym. And then you need to start helping out. And you need to start grabbing other students and teaching them and showing them what you know. So you pour back into them as you're getting poured into. I don't like that other environment.
Teach them to be humble, good humans.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because fighting goes away.
Yeah.
You can't do it forever. So being a good human is ultimately the best goal. You can be a great fighter. I've known a lot of great fighters, but being a good human, it needs to be first.
Yeah.
I've known great fighters that are not good humans. I've known great businessmen that are horrible humans.
Yeah.
But I know great businessmen that are really good humans, really good, so I think it's more important to be a good human than it is to be great.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Well, I'm gonna check the camera real fast. Make sure it's still going.
Because for me, it's so ingrained into who I am and what I've been doing for, such and such amount of time. I don't know how not do it. I don't even know how. I'm like, I'm going to get a real person job, and I don't even know how to act. around. Like I know, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like I just know this for so long. And so but like all the stuff that happens here is the same shit that happens out there.
Right.
I talk with people about all kinds of things outside of here, and everything that I discuss with them or their questions or their whatevers is always filtered through this fighting world, through the mats in my brain. And it just has come so well, it didn't come naturally, but it now comes out naturally that way because I've been doing it so long.
Well, I mean, and the book touches
way.
on that, right? And I think that's kind of your transition. You know, I've seen you grow a lot in this last year. You know, and me and Chris used to spend every single day together. We like always did dinner. Like when he lived like a couple blocks from me, like that was like, especially during the pandemic. Like we basically, you know, our families.
I
kind
text like, "What's for dinner tonight?"
Yep. Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's what we did, right? Our kids were like all hung out together. It was just like for like at least 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know I took a job in Seattle, and
It was too important for those.
yeah, so we started meeting like just once a week. And now that I live in Longview during the week, and I only here on the weekends, like we meet this is it. We just meet. We do this podcast, you know. And what we started doing is, you know, because we weren't spending every waking moment with each other, we started talking like talking more about things, more in depth things.
Yeah.
You know. And that was good for you for sure. I'm a talker. I have no problem talking, right? You are not good at it, but you're getting better at it.
I've always
You
been
know,
good at it. I
yeah.
know what you're talking
What are you
about.
talking about, Michael? But what I saw a transition. We started writing this book, and you started putting your thoughts on paper. You started realizing like who you really were as a person, what was really important to you,
Yeah.
and things that mattered. And I think it definitely gave you more focus as a man and as a human.
Yeah.
When you wrote it out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think these podcasts are really trying to focus on what happens off the mats. You know, like we'll probably never talk about technique or anything like that, but we're going to talk about, you know, things that the people that we care about are having issues with, and how this sanctuary can help them like overcome these issues outside of their life. And what can we like what in our experiences can we bring to the table to help navigate some of these things?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's yeah, because like I was saying though, right? Like everything's filtered through here for me,
yeah,
and like when I'm more better, probably the best person that has ever communicated on Earth right now, currently. But I'm not bragging. You know?
You?
I mean, I am an author.
Is that what we're talking
Yes,
about?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've been in my classes.
Okay. Right. Moving on.
Okay, so I'm not the best ever. No, but like when I was writing the book, all of the thoughts were already there. It helped me understand the thoughts and then helped me articulate them and then kind of put them in order where there's how they should be, right? And then now in conversations outside, just you know, with people and whatever it is that they're doing with their day-to-day life stuff, I'm finding that it has a positive impact. I haven't even dived into it yet, but you know, when the book got released, people had sent text messages or you know whatever messages, and you know, a quick you know that was awesome. It resonated with me, hit home for me. I'm battling. There was one. I don't want to name names, but anyways, like her mom just got diagnosed with cancer that week, and she started reading that book, and then she had realized that it had brought back the warrior spirit that was already within her, because she had battled cancer when she was in high school, and so you know this person, and so you know like just crazy on the timing.
Yeah.
But I guess essentially what I'm trying to also say is like, you know, everyone, we're all not getting out of here alive, and we're not getting out of here unscathed.
Right.
through the fuckery of life, I'm finding that taking my courage from the cage and then applying it to life is a form of vulnerability for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the fucking camera. I hate doing it. But I found that it's helpful. People are finding it to be helpful, and I just can't help not that. Like I don't. That's how I've been doing for so long. It's ingrained. I can't help it not.
I think people want to
Be
hear
helpful.
those stories, right? Like I remember there's very specific moments. I spent a lot of time with you when you were writing the book.
Yeah.
You're kind of reading through things and helping you, navigate the story and stuff. And
Yeah.
I remember there was a specific night where, like we really started digging into things that you didn't want to talk about, but we felt it was very important that you process that, and you did. And I think that's what once you did that. It was hard because there are things that you weren't like maybe they didn't go the way you wanted them to, things you don't want to talk about. But when you put them on paper and you were just honest with it, that's the story people want to hear. Because we all have things like that in our lives that we're not proud of. And when you have a strong individual that instead of talking about how successful he was, he's talking about the things that he failed at, but how he overcame them. Like even in our podcast that we did, was it the last one about being a father? Some of those comments, like, we weren't bragging about how awesome we were as dads. We were pretty honest about how fucking scary it was,
Yeah.
And that's what people want to hear is we're all human, right? They want to be able
Yeah.
to resonate with you. So I think, the other cool thing about putting a book out there like that is, like I said earlier about, being, resonating with people for the rest of their lives. Like now that you have this vessel out there, there's going to be so many people that you don't even know that are going to read your book, and it's going to change their lives. It's just kind of like it's going to happen. It already is happening, but just it's probably a pretty cool feeling just to know that you've done something. Your story's out there. You took the time to put it on paper and be honest about it, and just in that raw story is going to resonate with people that you don't even know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is a cool feeling. Yeah, I'm finding that to be a thing. My story. People, why? I don't understand that part though. I'm struggling with that part. I was talking to somebody
Like
the other
why?
day. Why the fuck does anybody want to hear my story?
It's because it's different.
It's not. It's the same as everybody else's.
Nope.
Yes, it is.
It's very not.
How is it? Okay. All right. You know what? Fuck you. I know what you meant when you said it that way, asshole. I know what you mean. I know. I just mean like I don't mean the story. I mean like, I don't even know. Fuck you. It is cool. I'm gonna share my story. It's quite. I guess it is quite a story. And I'm not. And again, I'm not gonna share the story to be like so and so did this, and that's not the story. That's not the story, anyways. The story is like the things in life, right? Like the grief, the loss of family members, the divorces, the betrayal. I'll tell all of these stories, but from the viewpoint of what I learned walking through those and how I navigated that and what I did, what I applied, and maybe that will help somebody in their time of darkness. I don't know. If it does, that would be pretty badass, actually, and that would be the objective, right? And that's why we're gonna move forward with these other, like that podcast that we'll do in a few weeks, the co-parenting one. I'm massively excited about that. I respect the shit out of both of those.
It's a good
people.
topic, and I think it's something that we, as a society, should be spending a lot more time empowering, because this is the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Instead of making excuses for situations, owning them.
Yeah.
It'll be a good podcast, and many more to come. So, I think that's all I got, man. Anything else?
I got Kimberly.
Kimberly, anything else? Any closing comments?
I think the book is interesting and the videos are interesting because I remember we were talking about it at dinner with Brooklyn, and you said, well, actually it was about like a different thing, but we were talking about a certain problem, and then you said to not deal with it by yourself, because if you deal with things by yourself, it doesn't make you stronger, it just makes you lonely. And I was like, oh, like that quote, that line that you dropped, then I was like, wow, that was. So I wonder if you writing your book, and I think you used to be when you were younger, I didn't know you when you were younger, but I think you're still carry it sometimes as far as like not telling people things, and like I think that started to become less and less. I don't know if that was something that you slowly
I'm glad you
started
saw
to
that
learn over
actually,
time.
because
Yeah.
that is something I was kind of hinting at. Once he started writing the book, like he's definitely opened up, not to everybody, just to specific people, but yeah, and it's making him a better person. He just doesn't realize it yet. He's learning new words. He's 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 learning grammar.
He's
Yes.
done opening up now.
Yeah, yeah. Now he's shut down. Yeah, yeah.
Never
Wall
again.
is back up.
There's so many more words in the English alphabet besides the F word. It's just incredible. You can use that word for many different
This
things.
is fucking
But
bullshit. I'm gonna go on a fuck rant.
That's true. You deny. Well, yeah, that's tough. It's always been tough asking for help. You know, the world doesn't ask you to be strong; it asks you to be resilient. And strength, you get tired. Strength has a limitation or a time limit. You know, I'm gonna be strong, independent, whatever you want to call at the end of that, right? That shit goes away. Resilience, though, is different. And resilience, I don't know. I haven't really written about it yet, and I haven't really dived into it. But I think it might have something to do with a bit of being developed and built with someone, whether that's your circle or your significant other or whatever. But resilience is definitely what is required to navigate this life. So, yeah, and it's been tough to ask for help because I just, you know, just get it done. Like,
right.
I don't have time to sit and ask him. But as I'm entering seasons in life, I'm learning that, you know, asking for help is an opportunity for resilience to be built, opportunity for growth, opportunity for a connection between whomever you're asking, right? And it gives them an opportunity to rise with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's an opportunity to set the pride and ego down, you know. So walk in humbleness, I guess, so to speak.
I just thought that was cool when you said that. I was like, wow. Wow, I'll save that quote in my brain for another day.
Many more to come.
Yeah.
Say it again. The quote.
Okay, well, clearly it wasn't a quote because I'm paraphrasing. So I guess it's not a quote. Let me get it.
Tomato cucumber.
What does that mean? See, tomato cucumber will not be a quote. That'll be saved. But
No. I'm bringing it back.
this was never here to begin with. You can't bring it back.
I don't remember what you said.
It was about don't do things by yourself. Because
It was a little speech, I'm not going to lie. Because then you talked about how you said if you don't tell people what's going on, then you deprive them of the chance to grow with you and be there for you. And that was a part of it. And then the second part was
You deny
dealing
them.
with problems. Yes, that was the word, deny them.
Deny them the opportunity to sit with you in your darkness and your pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's to love comes first, then to be loved, but to love.
Mm-hmm.
So we already have it, right? So if your buddy comes to you and says, "Hey, you know, I'm in a dark place," I had a buddy call me the other day, or I don't remember what he said. Met him the next day, you know, because he wasn't afraid. He was vulnerable, and he had courage to do that, right? And so, yeah, you deny them the opportunity for connection to strengthen a bond in your friendship when you don't ask for help. You just shut everyone else out and think you're just doing it to be strong, I guess, right? For whatever reasons, it doesn't matter. But, yeah.
Yeah, and then you said dealing with your problems alone doesn't make you strong, it just makes you lonely. I was like,
That's what it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to end it right there. It's a good quote.
Yeah, I guess.
Do I do the mic drop?
No.
Mic drop.
Do you just want me to drop it on the table? That sounds not the same as like when you want to just.
Mic drop.
Is that good?
Thanks, everybody.
Get away from me.
Boom.